A narrow strip of water, just 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, has become the most dangerous flashpoint on Earth. The Strait of Hormuz. And tonight, it's no longer just a shipping lane, it's a battlefield. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps now claims it has complete control over the strait, the critical artery that carries nearly 20% of the world's oil supply. But what shocked global markets even more is this. Reports suggest Tehran may allow only Chinese vessels to pass through. If true, this isn't just a military escalation, it's economic warfare. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. Every day, millions of barrels of oil flow through this corridor to power economies across Asia, Europe, and the West. When that flow stops, the world feels it instantly, at the gas pump, in shipping costs, and in financial markets. Since the conflict intensified, tanker traffic has nearly frozen. Roughly 200 oil tankers are now stranded in the Gulf. Insurance premiums are surging. Energy traders are bracing for oil prices to spike above $100 per barrel. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has declared the waterway an active military zone. Officials warn that any unauthorized vessel attempting to pass could face missile or drone attacks. That's not a warning. That's a direct threat to global commerce. Meanwhile, China has condemned U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iran and called for an immediate ceasefire. Beijing is Iran's largest oil customer, and most of that oil flows through Hormuz. A prolonged blockade would hit China's energy security hard. But Washington has made its position clear. President Donald Trump announced that the United States will not allow global energy flows to be held hostage. He stated that the U.S. Navy stands ready to escort tankers through the strait if necessary, ensuring what he called the free flow of energy to the world. The message from Washington is unmistakable. The United States will defend international waterways. The Pentagon is reportedly reviewing naval escort operations, similar to past missions protecting shipping lanes during previous Gulf crises. The U.S. has maintained a strong naval presence in the region for decades precisely for moments like this. However, experts warn that naval escorts alone may not eliminate the risk. Past incidents in the Red Sea have shown that even with military protection, shipping companies sometimes choose longer and more expensive routes to avoid danger. And the economic impact is already being felt. Oil prices initially surged before stabilizing slightly following U.S. assurances, but markets remain volatile. Energy analysts warn that a prolonged standoff could trigger a global supply crunch, increasing fuel costs worldwide, including in the United States. Despite America's strong domestic energy production, global oil prices still influence U.S. gasoline costs. A sustained disruption would ripple through supply chains, transportation, and consumer prices. At the White House, senior officials have reportedly met to discuss contingency plans. The administration has even proposed political risk insurance guarantees for companies willing to move shipments through the Gulf. But the core issue remains. Can Iran effectively close one of the world's most strategic maritime choke points? And if it tries, how far is the United States willing to go to stop it? The Strait of Hormuz has always been a strategic pressure point in global politics. But now, it represents something larger, a test of power between Tehran and Washington, with Beijing watching closely. One narrow corridor, missile threats from Iran, naval escort warnings from America, and global markets hanging in the balance. The Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a trade route. It is the front line of a widening geopolitical confrontation, and the world is watching what happens next.